Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
This episode is brought to you by Intuit TurboTax. Didn't file with TurboTax last year? That's in the past. Now, Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your own taxes for free if you didn't file with them last year. File by February 18th. All tax forms, all 100% free. Now, this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. New filers and filers who didn't use TurboTax last year only must start and file your own taxes in-app by February 18th. Excludes TurboTax Live. Full terms at TurboTax.com.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, Chicago. What do you say? Cubs gonna win today.
Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise podcast. Wow, it's time for the Cubs podcast.
Yeah.
Oleg and Praz. Hey guys, haven't seen you for months.
I know. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, definitely. But, you know, the Cubs haven't really given us much to talk about. And then in the past week or so, we have 3 trades to discuss. And I want to give an early congratulations to you, Andy, on not having to ever learn how to pronounce Matt Tice's name. Because that was the biggest move of all.
Tice. What is it? Did we ever learn? I should look it up.
I think Praz just got it right.
But I don't know what he said. Tice or Tice?
I said Tice.
Tice?
I think it's Tice. Like Mike Tice.
I'm assuming
it is.
Didn't the Bulls a few years ago have that guy Daniel Tice that I'm thinking similar spelling? So
it is, according to Baseball Reference, it is Tice.
Ah,
okay.
They're
common pronunciation.
They're why can't I think of the word? This is my first beer. Why can't I think of when you spell something out phonetically? Their phonetic spelling of his name is Thice. So Tice, not Tice.
All right.
I was lumping him in with like Nate and Mike Tice.
Yeah. Good to know, and I will forget in 30 seconds.
I did think it was funny though. The Bleacher Nation guys were like, well, you know, they kind of had to trade him because how were they going to get him through waivers? I don't know.
Gee.
Put him on waivers. I think he'd probably get right through.
When the trade you make is for cash considerations from the White Sox.
Yeah.
100 grand. You got $100,000 for that guy.
Is that right?
That'll help defray part of the $5 million they had to send out with Cody.
Yeah. That's the big deal, right?
Down to 4.9 now. Jed's like, what else can I sell? He's like looking around. What do you think we can get for Carter?
Yeah. He put McCaskey's Camry on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. I was very impressed by George's windbreaker last night. Did you guys see his windbreaker?
Yes, very snazzy.
Why is he wearing a windbreaker in a skybox in a dome?
I had that in your thing today, and I'm like, oh God.
George, what's going on here?
I like he'll get a call and you'll have to go umpire a girls plumbing softball game or something. Whatever you said.
He's got to be ready just in case.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Cubs, it's 3 trades now since Friday.
Man, it's
In order of importance, of course. It's Matt Tice for money.
Yep.
Cody's money shoved out the door. Cody Bellinger, all but $5 million of it, and I got a Cody in return. Cody for Sarah Lang's first ever Cody trade in Major League history.
Okay.
So I got to that going for him. Cody Poteet, which sounds like something you put on your flower garden. Sounds like some kind of manure. He's terrible. Why did they even bother? It's like, just give us a body. We just need a body. I don't want to just be money. We need a. What about you? Want fucking Poteet? I'm like, fine, we'll take him.
Well, he did have a 2-something ERA last year.
Yeah, in like 5 games. In like he'll probably be starting in Iowa.
Just don't look at the
He'll
season.
probably start after the pitch lab gets cranked up. He'll probably have to start opening day.
Maybe.
I think it's this. Like I think they kind of did Cody a favor. Like I think they
Cody, which one?
Bellinger. Sorry, I think it did both of them, frankly. But I think I did Bellinger kind of a favor because he was clearly going to be 5th on the outfield depth chart. He's not going to cash in on 400 plate appearances this year. At least now he'll be able to get to 600, assuming he stays healthy, and he'll play every day. He's got the good right field porch. Like I think that this is it's sort of like I think they did all right by him.
Yeah, he should be able to hit there. My thing is not they shouldn't have traded him. It's, I mean, really, that you were so obsessed with getting somebody to take as much money as possible that you literally got nothing for him. That's my only issue with it.
That is the thing that pisses me off. You could have easily probably thrown in an extra $10 million and gotten somebody.
I saw some smart guy who was suggesting that they trade him to the Giants for Camilo Doval and Casey Schmidt. You still would have saved a bunch of money, but you had your closer and you had a utility infielder. Whatever that was.
Yeah. I wish I remember where I heard that. I think that was.
Let me check my emails real quick.
What I did.
That was me. So it didn't have any merit to it.
My first reaction was that's a bit of a pipe dream. That would be better.
That's the best kind. Those are the best kind.
Yeah, I mean,
before I forget,
$20 million of his next year's contract and $20 million the year after.
Oh yeah, the Cubs. You would have, in order to make that happen, you would have had to have given. You had to act like a real big market team.
Yes.
You would have had to have. You would have sent a significant amount of money to the Giants, but you also would have got either your closer or Porter Hodges' buddy, who's only going to make $8 million next year.
Yes.
And Schmidt makes the minimum $800,000. So you would have, you still, even by sending some money out, you would have saved money. But that's not enough, apparently.
That's not how the Ricketses are looking at it.
All right, I want you guys to tell me to see if you could tell me what this sound is.
Okay.
What do you think that is? I'm gonna play it one more time. It's like a game show. Okay.
It's Carter Hawkins seeing himself naked in the mirror.
That's actually very close. All right, I'm gonna play the whole thing, and now you're gonna know who it is.
All right.
You can't quote that. I'm not going to comment on anything.
That's Jed's fucking laugh.
No,
that was Jed laughing. Yes, I swear to God. At the end of the press conference,
him acting like he's laughing at something.
He was laughing. So he had at the very last question was a Japanese reporter asked about. He wanted to know if the Cubs really sent a presentation packet to Roki Sasaki, and that was Jed's answer. This.
Why couldn't he say this?
You can't quote that.
It's like a.
Is that his whole answer?
I'm not going to comment on anything.
Yes.
What do you mean you can't quote that? What's he not? What the fuck is going on?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to give a straight answer.
He laughed, but the laugh is super creepy.
Yeah, sounds like a cartoon witch, like snicker, kind of.
Well, was he just trying to not comment? And that's a comment on its own.
Yeah, everybody knows they did.
Yeah,
right.
What's the deal?
I'm pretty sure that Roki's agent listed the teams that sent stuff. But I think it all goes back to last year. Shohei basically told him and his agent told everybody if a word gets out that you made an offer, what your offer is, you're out.
Yeah.
I don't think Roki gives a shit. All the offers are going to be the same. So what does it matter?
Right.
Like everybody's going to make him the exact same offer, and he's just going to pick a team.
Like
so I don't
when
think he
Joey
cares.
went through this 7 years ago, right? It wasn't this like everybody knew who the final. Everybody knew.
Yeah, right. Everybody knew the Cubs gave themselves great credit for being one of the finalists, even though they were in the National League, and he wanted to be a DH.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Jed. He was
so
feeling
weird.
himself today. He was very happy.
I bet. I would be happy too, but he was so weird.
All
right, which one do you want to talk about first?
I suppose we should talk about the actual good trade.
Yeah, I was going to say, which one do you want to talk about first?
So it's a Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
For the great Hayden Wesneski.
Yes.
Isak Paredes.
Yes.
Yep.
And number 1 draft pick from last year,
yes.
Cam Smith.
Yeah.
A horrible overpay. Why would you give that up just to get one of the 6 best players in baseball?
Right.
You can't give up Cam Smith. He's going to be a superstar. It's guaranteed.
Such an overpay to only give up one of your top 10 prospects.
I actually hope Cam Smith is good. Like I don't.
He could
I
very
don't
well
any,
be good. Yeah.
I have no interest
sure.
in
He's not going to be a third baseman. He's going to be an outfielder or first baseman.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to hit a lot of homers.
Yeah.
He should be good. Yeah. And that's the idea, right?
I think here's the other thing I'll say, Andy, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier. I'm not worried. I would love it if the Cubs signed Kyle Tucker long term, but I think that really undervalues the importance of going after it for 1 year. Now, having said that, there's 4 moves that have to get made, and I'd like to talk about that in a while. But getting Kyle Tucker for 1 year is a big deal. Like it's a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
And the Cubs and Jed Hoyer, I'll give Jed Hoyer this much credit. He treated it as if it was a big deal. He went after it and he did it. And there's a lot to be said for that. As many things as I will criticize him about, you got to give him credit for making this.
No, it's the right move. And he was aggressive and he stuck his little nose in there and he fought off the Yankees.
Yep.
And he got his guy.
Yep.
And I alluded to this. We didn't allude to it. We were actually talking about it. They just hadn't made the trade yet with Loxus last week, which was if you make this trade with the idea that you're going, Tom Ricketts says, yes, you can make a big offer to him, then I think you absolutely do it. There's no guarantee he'll, he could go anywhere. He could Juan Soto you. He could, for $5 million, he could go play for the Mets instead.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go into it with the intention that you're not going to bother, then I don't think you should bother. But I do think they're going to. Now, I don't know if at the end of the day they'll have the balls to actually, when the bidding starts flying and that number goes up and all of a sudden they're like, oh, God, it's getting very high. But I think today they think they're going to make a strong enough offer to keep it. And I think you have to have that mindset, right? Because you're not.
Right.
There's no reason they can't. I mean,
no.
They have the money on hand, but they also money is falling off the roster again.
Yeah.
Like the $40 million you have to pay Kyle Tucker, if you don't, Loxus mentioned it perfectly. If you're afraid to pay him $40 million a year, then when he's gone, you're going to be like, well, this guy costs $25 million and this guy costs 20, and you get 2 players who combined aren't as good as him, and you pay him more money. So
right.
It's the Dave Smith, Jose Guzman versus Greg Maddux argument, right? Yeah. Kenny Maldonado was that the other one. I think that I don't. Here's my take on it. I think all that is secondary. Like this is the year, and here's the thing that I would even say: if you don't go out there and then bolster the roster even more, then you're really wasting an opportunity for this year.
Well,
Whatever happens next year, happens next year. But now. This is the year that you go for it. Because I think Jed Hoyer kind of sees it. He looks at the Central, and I know that, we talk about the Central, whatever, but he looks at the Central and it's, the Cardinals are taking a step back. The Brewers just lost to Damas, whatever, right? Like it's a division for the taking, but more so than that.
Right.
The National League is there for the taking. I know the Dodgers are going to be good. I know the Mets just got Soto, but
the National League. That's pretty easy to slip the National League. Just the Dodgers and the Padres and the Phillies and the Mets. Other than that, and the Braves. Other than that, no good teams in the National League.
If the Padres trade away Cease, and I like your idea of the Cubs getting them, but if the Padres, what's about the Padres? Yu Darvish is 39, right? Like the Padres aren't that good. They're not.
No, except that if they had scored one run in Game 4, they probably win the World Series last year.
Right.
They were the second best team in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but
choked away. I've never seen a team choke something away like that in San Diego before, ever. It was amazing.
All right.
I mean, I was born 10 years after what you're referencing, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Referencing? Was I referencing? I was referencing a Scott Sanders start in the playoffs against the Cardinals in 1997, I think.
Right.
I thought you were referencing Dan Fouts against the Bears, and I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't like I don't know, whatever. Like I think the Cubs, if the Cubs have another $40 million, if they go out and spend another $40-50 million, make another trade or two. Like this is a lot of.
They're not going to do that.
I just said a lot of ifs, but like this is you have to go for it now for this year.
Yeah,
and whatever happens after that.
It's similar to what Andy had brought up on a previous broadcast with Dave Brown when we'd all found out that the Cubs in this previous season went over the luxury tax. Well, if you're going to go over the luxury tax, you may as well just go balls out with it too. You know, like there's no benefit to just going slightly over it. You know, they're kind of a little bit screwed in the fact that the penalties they would have to pay for signing someone with a qualifying offer now are going to be much more heightened than they would previously have been. No, they're not going to, but you know,
that's why they're making trades instead.
Right.
Mega Montemuro actually reported the other day on how much they went over by. They went over by less than $200,000.
My God.
Yeah.
All they had to do was renegotiate the health plan.
Well, they
just get a couple extra back braces for Jameson Taillon, and you know,
she explained it was because they had to sign like I don't know who it would have been, but they had to go get. Oh, it was like when they had to bring on like Tyson Miller and those guys to fix the bullpen that fell apart, and it was money they hadn't budgeted for because they still had the guys they were actually paying, and then they had to go get more guys, and they just barely crept over it, and you know Greenberg and I are both convinced that they did it on purpose, and they did it because then they didn't have to. They had an excuse not to sign qualified free agents. But if you're going to use your prospects to trade them, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
As long as you get players, I don't care how you do it.
Yes,
go get them.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and by the way, I'm still all good if they want to go out and trade Nico Horner for Luis Castillo. Cool.
Well, yeah, we could play Gage Workman at second base.
Or
the new Madrigal.
Go out and trade Kevin Alcantara for Brandon Lowe.
Well, yeah, they should go get and Sahadev, I think, asked Jed today about no, it wasn't him, but it was somebody asking him, are you going to go get a veteran third baseman just in case? Because, you know, what happens if Matt Shaw struggles or he's not ready or whatever. And he danced around it. He basically, I think, he's trying to tell Matt that job's yours, go get it. But it also sounded like he was going to bring somebody for the bench that if it all went to hell, if you play somebody there. Because you could also then, if you got a little better player than just roster fodder, then you could trade Nico and Shaw just play second base. You got your infield.
Yeah.
You could trade with the Cardinals and get Nolan Arenado.
I'm surprised.
And have them throw in $50 million too.
No, you could probably get the Rockies to pay for it.
Yeah. There you go.
Cardinals will call and go, hey, we need you to kick in some money because we're trading Arenado to the Cubs.
I'm surprised they didn't make the Yankees throw in Scott Brocious.
Yeah, the Yankees literally don't have a third baseman. They have Jazz, who's got to play second for them now. They couldn't even got a stopgap in that deal.
Jeez.
But yeah, I'm unapologetically and loudly psyched about Kyle Tucker on the Cubs.
Yeah, he's the best player they've had since Chris Bryant, before Chris Bryant fell over the bat.
Yep.
And he's the best. I think he's the best position player they've traded for since Derek Lee. Okay. I couldn't think of anybody better. Position players that they got was better in a trade.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great move.
Derek Lee's a high bar to clear. Yeah, MVP finalist.
I was very disappointed, though, that because it wasn't a real press conference, I want to see what number he gets.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Because to me, that's the key. If they give him 30, they're serious about it. If they don't give him 30, that means they don't even want the manager to give up his number. The guy who wears an actual jersey like 4 times a year, wears that weird little T-shirt thing with no sleeves and a hood. You don't even need it. Why do they even wear uniforms anymore? It's weird. I just want them in like
put him in the full Vince Lombardi suit and everything. Yeah.
Why do coaches get a number? Like, who cares?
Because I think it just goes back to when your coaches were basically the players who weren't playing,
right?
And your manager was a player manager, and everybody had to have a number.
But that's not it anymore. Like, why? No. But why bother now?
They should make them wear those. Remember the old football coaches doing more. Remember the old football coaching shorts, the weird polyester ones with the high waist.
Oh, sure.
That should be the new uniform for Rob Manfred. Instead of worrying about the golden at bat, fix the uniforms. If NBA coaches are all going to wear quarter zips now, baseball managers should have to wear the tight little polyester shorts, but with the stirrups still.
Just make them wear the 77 White Sox uniforms.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't. I think anything that happens up to this year's secondary, if you're trading for Kyle Tucker for 2025, just fucking go for it. Just go.
Yeah, it doesn't make even if you think you're going to try to sign him, there's no guarantee you're gonna.
Right.
So the only way this works is if you put together a really good team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's all of that. Like, everything that happens after this year's secondary. Like, I'm not concerned. It's not.
I mean, I don't even know why they needed him once they fixed their offensive problem when they got Carson Kelly to be their catcher.
True.
Big thumper.
I might be the president of the Miguel Amaya fan club, granted, but I just don't I don't get it.
No, Carson Kelly should be his backup.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't even want a timeshare. I don't want him splitting it.
But there's no way Carson Kelly would have signed if they would have said you're only catching 81 games this year.
I don't know. Unless they were the only ones that offered him any real money.
Yeah,
fine, I'll take it.
There's teams out there who need catchers, and that's and speaking of that tangentially, I don't like. I get Seiya Suzuki's complaint about wanting to play the outfield and not DHing.
Yeah,
but he's also never played 100 in 3 years. Last year was his high water mark in games played.
Yeah, I would say to him, if you wanted to play right field, we gave you 3 years to show us you could do it, and you didn't.
You got 2 years left. Like there, look. He will maximize his earnings if he does nothing but DH this year. If he's a right fielder, then it's just a negative mark. I mean, and he's not a terrible right fielder. Not bad.
How much of an impact though can a DH have? Has a Japanese DH ever won MVP?
Unanimous
MVP.
One. Right.
Yeah.
Doing something that no other player has ever done before.
Yeah. His elbow was hurt.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I wonder if Seiya really bitched about that, or if it was his agent basically complaining about the fact he's got the no trade, and there's Jed calling him like, "Man, you think we can say it and maybe waive the?" Do you think he's like?
I don't think. Honestly, I don't even
it's
think
just an airing of the grievances.
I think
they what?
And who's his agent? Is it Joe Wolf's agent? Is that who it is? Is that
I don't know. Is he every?
Wolf? Is that
it is because it's the same. Yeah, because it's the same agent. No, Randy Wolf. That's Jim Wolf. Or is it
Randy
the third Wolf? There's Randy and Jim.
Jim Wolf was the umpire, right? Yeah.
The umpire, the old pitcher, right? The old Phillies pitcher, and this
is
guy.
It really? I thought he spelled his name with an E.
Yeah, they all do.
No. The other two are just
no, Randy Wolf doesn't have the
Randy
E
Wolf
on
and Jim Wolf are just Wolf, like the animal.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He'd be slightly. Wait a minute. Is he? He can't be. According
what?
Wikipedia says he's 88 years old. I don't think he's 88.
Joel
Wolf.
Oh.
Yes. Well, that we knew. We knew the age was a little, Japanese players. They're fudging the birth.
I almost said some bad.
But it was, I will say this, listening
metric.
To your podcast.
He's 88 years old, metric.
Not metric, American. Yes, there we go.
Metric. I don't know how to do the conversion
of his name. It was a little infuriating listening to your podcast with Loxus and trading about all the trading of Seiya.
We didn't want to trade him.
I don't think anyone wants to trade him.
I'm the one. I'm the one who said they wouldn't. They shouldn't have to do it.
They would
I
not.
wrote a whole column about how if Jed's any good at his job, he can get him without him, and he did. So
it was hilarious listening to it. Not to talk about all the podcasts, but it was kind of hilarious listening to it after.
All right, let's play some clips. All right, let's cue up. All right, let's play number 236. Robin,
this show is Remember This Crap Discipio Podcasts former. Yeah.
This is Andy Dolan, and I can't wait to trade Seiya Suzuki.
God damn it! I really said that. I don't even remember saying
this message.
Oh, I used to be a maitre d' at a big restaurant. And all those celebrities would come in and they'd say they're going to trade Seiya Suzuki.
Was that?
I don't remember Loxus saying that. I don't think he listens to the podcast. I don't think he even listens to the one he's on. Of course, you don't have to. You did it. Why would you have to listen to it? Yeah, but I think we could say anything about him and he'd never know. I'm pretty sure.
I do love Joe's. I haven't been there in forever. Isn't that where he was?
I believe so.
Anyway,
yeah.
was I
among others? I believe he's other places too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Seiya he's clearly the second best hitter the Cubs have.
Yes.
Right. I mean, clearly.
I agree.
I mean,
clearly, you're right.
And I think here's the other thing is that as much as you hate Ian Happ, Suzuki, Happ, and Bush, along with Kyle Tucker, make a pretty good middle of the lineup, 2 through 5.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first, like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Lead off?
I was going to say Happ would probably be leading off.
Right.
I want him leading off.
1 and 3 through 5. I don't know if you got Happ, and I don't know who's going to hit second, but whatever it is. That's second not a bad foursome.
Tucker's probably going to hit second.
Tucker's going to hit second? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't care. Doesn't your best? I thought with the nerds tell you that your best hitter should bat second.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's fine.
And then say I can hit third.
Yeah. That's fine.
And then
Happ or not Happ. Bush hits fourth.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Oof. I don't know.
Still need another hitter.
That's a big step up in class for a guy who, he was fine last year.
He was fine.
There just seems to be this assumption among Cub fans that he's just tapping his potential and it's just going to take off from here. He's going to be 27, right?
27.
He could very well be. That might be it. That might be what you get.
But that's a pretty good hitter.
I don't know that I want it bad. Of course, I still have the old, nerds would say cleanup is not really a thing. It's just a batting position with a cool name, and people always want to bat cleanup because they have a cool name.
They clearly need another hitter. I'll grant you that they clearly need another hitter. But that's okay. You got.
You want Nico hitting down at the bottom of the order. You want Pete hitting down at the bottom of the order,
both, right?
And Dansby should be what, your 7 hitter, like he was
6 or 7.
On a good Braves team, he batted 7th a lot, 6th and 7th. That's where he should be batting on the Cubs. So they still need a 5th.
Yeah,
they need a. They don't have their 5th hitter. Who might be a good. They should call the Astros, ask about this guy named Cam Smith.
There you go. Now you're thinking outside the box, Andy.
How do you get that? Well, Ken Rosenrose said, "Why don't they just go sign Alex Bregman?"
I don't want to. That's right.
Just do it all. He's on the Ricketts are cheap bandwagon, which I very much enjoy.
Yes, I have been enjoying that
every chance he gets. But now he's kind of thinking along with you, Oleg, which is you made this move. You really have to keep going. Doesn't do you any good to be like, oh, that's good enough, because it's not.
Right.
It's the biggest move you need to make, but you have to make other moves.
Yep. I'm all for it. Call up the Devil Rays. Call up the Rays and offer him Kevin Alcantara, whatever his name is,
for Christopher Morel.
Lowe.
They were trying to get Morel back to play third.
I don't know that you have to give up Alcantara for Morel.
So here's an interesting tidbit that Jed said.
Okay.
They traded for Paredes on the 28th of July.
Okay.
The next 3 days, they got phone calls from other teams trying to trade for Isaac Paredes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Teams were like, what? And I could just imagine the calls. It's like, what the fuck do you need him for? You're not going anywhere. Give him to me. And one of the teams that called were the Astros. And that's how Jed knew how much they wanted.
They need a first
They were
baseman.
going to have that square little guy play first base.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. He played first base for the Rays occasionally. Be a tough guy to hit, I think. He's a spotty little fella.
Fire hydrant.
We didn't see the best of Isak. I guess because of the wind. It was an epidemic.
Clearly.
Nobody could hit.
It was all just the wind.
The wind. Jed had that whole list of, it's cost us all these. Well, you're okay. So what you're saying then is next year when the weather is normal, your pitching staff's going to suck. That's what you're telling us. Because they got the advantage of it, Jed. It goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You still realize, Jed, you only have to outscore the other team by a run. So if the wind is blowing in and your pitching is getting an advantage, it should even out. You lost those games because you were bad, not because the wind was blowing.
Yeah. I still have Randy Wolf on my screen.
Now, I guess with Cody, even if Cody been here, you still could have done the same thing. But with these moves now, the Cubs, see if you can tell me the singular trait these players all share. Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow, Ian Happ, Michael Busch, Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, Matt Shaw, Carson Kelly.
Monosyllabic last names. No, wait, that's not right.
The Cardinals Cardinal fans are going to be so jealous.
I know, right?
Yeah, seriously.
The all Caucasian American-born team.
It's like.
Do you think maybe the Ricketts were like they've gotten a look at the deportation plan, and they're like, Jed, we're just going to give you a hint. Maybe deportation-proof players this year. Just a wink, wink.
Oh my God!
Nobody born south of Van Nuys.
Yeah.
So that's why they weren't in on Soto this whole time. They didn't want to have him deported.
They know he's like the Mets are going to be lucky to get a month out of him.
Yep.
So wait, hold on. Now that I think about it, the pitching staff is Justin's. Imanaga and Say are both there. But so you got Steele, Tyone, Boyd,
Wicks. He can go all Caucasian with the pitching staff too.
Yeah. Ben Brown. Yeah.
I think we're on to something. I think we know why the Cubs.
Exactly.
We're not happy about it, but we know why they're doing it.
Was it the Pirates in the early 70s who had like the first all black lineup, right? The Cubs will be the first like post, 2020 all white lineup.
Oh, the Cardinals though a couple years ago could easily do it. Although the whole thing hinged on how Cuban Nolan Arenado is.
Right.
Is that right?
That was the tip. That was the tipping point.
Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised the Cardinals didn't go all one drop on him.
Well, that's why they told him if he wants to get himself traded, he can go.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. Like, he's not the best defensive third baseman anymore. Matt Chapman.
No.
But he's still really good. And his offense has really gone in El Tanco.
Yeah.
Yep.
But his contract takes a steep drop after this year.
Like it's front loaded.
He's like $25 million this year, and then he's like 17 and 16 the last 2 years. So he's actually priced appropriately those last 2 years.
How does that work for luxury tax purposes?
It's you pay the average of his whole deal.
No, even if he's traded,
I'm just talking about
if the Cardinals keep him.
Oh, I think you only have to pay that's a good question. Like, do you only have to pay the average of what's left?
Right.
So, like at the beginning, you have to pay the average of the whole thing, but then as the contract goes on, you shouldn't be paying tax for money you've already paid.
Yeah.
So he's actually whoever gets him is not really going to have to pay. He's going to be a pretty good deal, I think. as long as he continues to field.
Are you trying to convince me that that Jed should go after him?
Well, I wouldn't want to give anything to the Cardinals.
No.
If we still had Nick Madrigal, that would be a trade made in heaven. We'll give you a Madrigal.
There you go.
Oh, you guys are going to love him. Remember Aaron Miles? Same thing. Go get him.
I don't know. Do you think they'd be too turned off by acquiring someone named Miles Masterbone for him?
Yeah.
Down there.
Those are perfect names to get. It
is funny though that the Cubs need a third baseman, and then if he was on any other team, don't you think this would be like at least a rumor? You're not even gonna get a rumor out of it. Although one thing we know from Remember This Crap, the Cubs, like pre Dallas Green, the Cubs and Cardinals used to trade all the time.
Yeah,
like they made so many trades. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you doing this?
Isn't that where Ken
I guess it's fine if he.
Yep.
Huh?
Ken Wright?
Yeah. Oh, that was in the the Suter trade.
Leon Durham, right?
Leon Durham.
I think that was the same trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even I've had a few minor trades. What was the last big one? Like Todd Zeal? Was that the last big trade with the Cardinals?
Yeah. There were like minor league ones in like the 2000s at some point, and then
maybe. All right.
Well, let's bring it back. Actually, I think Matt Shaw's better than Nolan Arenado. Why would you even bother?
Exactly.
I know a lot about Matt Shaw because I've seen highlights. So I got to tell you, he's awesome. Because I've seen clips.
You over the last year, you have convinced me about Matt Shaw.
The last trade, unless maybe this hasn't been updated. 4th of July 2007.
Okay.
Oh, I missed another huge one. August 25th, 2002. Cubs traded Jeff Facero to the Cardinals for Jared Blasdell and Jason Carnuth.
Okay. That's a big one. What happened in 2007?
John Nelson to the Cubs as part of a conditional deal. That's it. That's all it says.
Conditional deal.
But yeah, there were a whole shitload of trades.
2007 was maybe the last time that they made any kind of a.
According to this, maybe though, this could be this site hasn't been. This site is not. It's not. Looks like it hasn't been updated since. Like it looks like. Yeah, it was like it was. You could see it's cards rule at CompuServe.net. Is that new?
Wow. CompuServe. That's a blast from the
I like
past.
this though. There was an SI headline: Cubs sign ex-Cardinals catcher to $11 million deal. Carson Kelly. It's like 4 teams ago, but he's ex-Cardinals.
Yeah,
catcher.
right.
Carson Kelly.
God.
It was like back in early 2000, late 90s, when I wanted to start a Cubs blog, and Donahue and I, we got Cubs.blogspot.com.
Ooh,
wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do with that?
It might still. I don't know if you. Let me see if you do a search on it. I think it was called 94 Years and Counting. So I guess that gives you a.
Oh yeah, 94. So it's 14 years before the. So 2002. The Todd Zeal trade, for anyone who wants to know, was Todd Zeal and cash. Cubs got money for Francisco Morales, Paul Torres, and Mike Morgan.
And I think I remember you saying that wound up being like a terrible trade long term for the Cubs setting themselves up, right? Because it kind of set up like them like having a terrible year in '95, the Cardinals, and then hiring Tony La Russa the next year, which basically attracted like Mark McGwire to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been maybe 95 might have been the Mike Jorgensen year.
Yeah.
It was either that or Torrey. I forget who was managing the Cardinals, but they got whacked. and that the genius arrived. Glad this turned into a Cardinal podcast all of a sudden. Yeah, so I haven't called Kyle Tucker Michael Tucker yet.
Michael Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Pretty sure I'm going to do that. Love Michael Tucker. What a player that guy was. Weird bug eyes.
Well, here's
gland problem.
If you're bringing up 2001 Cubs outfielders, we talked about all the white guys on this team. You know who would fit right in is Rondell White.
I'd sign him now. I bet he can still hit. I mean, his knees can't be any worse, right? He's probably had knee replacements by now.
Right.
He probably get you. You probably get 85 games out of Rondell.
For sure.
Worth a shot. Oh, he was such a cool player, and we didn't have him for very long. But when he did, he hit. He hit every time he played.
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah. So Tucker, do you think he'll win the right field job?
I don't know. It's going to be tough between him and Seiya.
That's what somebody should ask him. If you're giving him the spot, or is he going to have to compete for it? We compete for everything on this team. But yeah, he's probably going to get it.
I guess one thing I do want to know is, like, did he ever get any significant playing time at DH in Houston, or would it just been Yordan Alvarez?
He's a Gold Glove right fielder, so I don't think he would have.
Okay, so no.
Now last year he did. He Todd Hollandsworth himself. He fouled the ball off just above his shin guard and broke his shin and trapped the nerve, and he missed a long time. But his numbers after he came back were ridiculous.
He's so good.
And then
his good in the numbers overall in 78 games, hitting 23 home runs, 4.7 baseball reference WAR.
He had like a 158. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. If Juan Soto's playing left field for the Mets, is Kyle Tucker the best right fielder in the National League? And Mookie Betts is playing shortstop next year, which is crazy on its own. But
yeah, and it won't last again. They'll do that for like a month. They're like, this is stupid. Like, yeah, let's put Mookie back. Let's put our Gold Glove right fielder back in right field. I mean, it's cool. They basically have made him like the greatest utility player ever. They just wherever there's a hole, they just play Mookie there.
Yeah.
The catch. Will Smith got hurt. Mookie, you want to catch? Sure, I'll catch.
It's everything the Cubs were hoping for with Chris Bryant.
Right. You ponder that. I will. Here were Kyle Tucker's numbers before he got hurt. In the first 60 games, he had 19 homers and 40 RBIs. He hit 266 with a 395 on base and a 584 slug. That's a 979 OPS. When he came back in September, this is all he did. He hit 365 with a 453 on base and a 587 slug for a 1.041 OPS. Is that good? That seems good.
That's pretty damn good.
And he claimed in his press conference today that he played at Wrigley last year and that he loved it.
Okay.
He was pandering.
Oh yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all for the pandering. Here's the thing, right? This is what I also just noticed that he wore two numbers in Houston, 3 and 30.
Why did he give up?
Did the Cubs retire 3? 3 was his first number, and then maybe he got 30 when he finally, kind of like how Mark Grace wore 28 for like a weekend and then was 17 for the rest of his career. Because that's the only the extra jersey they brought to San Diego. We only got this one. You want to wear it, kid? Did they retire 3 for Jeremy Burnett's, or is it still issued?
I mean, if they retired it for anyone, it's obviously got to be the great David Ross.
Wendell Kim.
Or Wendell Kim.
Wendell Kim also wore 3. Did they retire it for Wendell?
Who are we talking about? The Astros?
Oh. We're talking about Kyle Tucker when he was in his first cup of coffee with the Astros.
Right. He wore 3 and then he wore 30.
Right.
And I had said that if they don't give him 30, that's a bad sign. But what if he really wants 3? Is it available? Because that could be the other. That could be the fallback to give him 3.
Yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying. Sorry.
Did the Cubs have a 3 last year? I mean,
no. Okay.
Let's go to Casey Ignarski's website and let's find out. But anyway, those numbers I thought pretty good for Kyle Tucker. Apparently, he's good at hitting the baseball.
He's
absolutely.
Did you know? So when Kyle Tucker got drafted 5th by the Astros, and it was the same draft where they drafted Alex Bregman 2nd.
This gets better.
It's why
in that draft, number 1 pick. Do you know who it was?
I got it up, so I'd be cheating. But
Dansby Swanson.
Oh, right.
What did we say? Number 5, Kyle Tucker?
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 8,
Ian Happ.
Pick.
Yep.
Ian Happ. And 4th round pick of the Marlins in that draft, Cody Poteet.
Let's go. All right.
Cubs
we got the all 2015 draft team.
Reassembling all the great players from the 2015
draft. All right.
Cody Poteet.
Oleg, you want the Cubs to go like all balls to the wall this offseason? You know who they're trading for next is Andrew Benintendi to complete the entire 2015 draft squad.
It's funny. The reason I remember Ian Happ. All right, this is a story that's probably only interesting to me, but we in my National League Only Fantasy League, right? We have a minor league draft, and I had the number 1 pick that year, and I remember I IM'd Sahatov to ask him whether I should take Dansby Swanson or Ian Happ first in that in our.
What did he tell you?
He said take Dansby.
Okay.
And I probably a good choice.
Dave Stewart would not have told you to take Dansby.
No.
Dave Stewart fucking
That's true.
Him. He couldn't get rid of Dansby fast enough. For some reason, he literally hated Dansby.
I never
why he made that trade. He just
made that pick.
I think he couldn't believe they didn't take Bregman. And he just always held it against Dansby. And when he took over as GM, his first thing was to find somebody who would take Dansby. But he traded him like a year. I mean, didn't Dansby only play 1 year in the Diamondback system, and he was traded to the Barb?
Less than that.
Well, I think you have to play a year, right?
Well,
you have to finish that first season, and you're not eligible to be traded.
Yeah, just same with Cam Smith.
Yeah. The draft was in June. They traded him that winter.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Okay, I solved the mystery. I should have remembered who number 3 was. They're not giving Kyle Tucker.
Oh no,
the Ricketts family has to retire 3 for Rossi.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Good old Rossi, World Series hero, David Ross.
Yeah,
actively sabotaged Game 7, and they still won.
And then actively sabotaged as manager for a few years. Yeah.
What was I watching the other day? Was it a TikTok? I don't remember what I was watching the other day, but they were just going through the highlights, and there was and like every time I see it doesn't happen very often anymore. But that ball bouncing and hitting him in the head and him falling over. Like, I'm so glad they won that game because I can find that hilarious now. I mean, it would be infuriating if they had lost that game, obviously.
Well, it is hilarious because it literally knocks him like it knocks him on his ass when it hits him in the mat. He like stuns him.
Right.
But right before that, he had fielded a swinging bunt and thrown it into the stands. And then there's the whole thing with Aroldis and never calling anything but a fastball. And he did all that shit, and then and Theo just couldn't wait to hire that guy. Here's Theo, still pissed at Joe for that game. And the guy he replaces him with is the guy who objectively had an even worse night than Joe did, except he did hit the home run off Andrew Miller.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty. I mean, granted, Miller had probably thrown 19 games in a row. But
yeah, Miller and the Cubs getting it to Game 7 was big because Corey Kluber was toast and Andrew Miller was toast. And so was Aroldis. And Aroldis was toast. All those guys had been ridden into the ground. Yeah.
I can't believe Aroldis still signed this year. Like, he's still pitching.
Yeah.
The Red Sox, right?
Is that right? I mean, he gave like $13 million. It wasn't like
they're giving the Red Sox shit because they had traded for him. But that's when they had agreed to the trade with the Reds. But that's when the story came out about him shooting up the garage, and then the moral high ground, they wouldn't take him, and the Yankees traded for him instead. And now apparently that's a fine. Cool. Craig Breslow was like, I don't give a shit. Okay, we'll take him. Now that he's not any good, now is the time to get on the moral high horse. And he's just a guy, right?
Right.
Then when he was the best closer in baseball, that's when you can get a little moral gray area there. People will forgive. They did. We forgave Theo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of us did. Yeah, so Carson Kelly. So what's next? This very podcast. What's next? What are they going to do next? What? I do like Jesus Luzardo.
Yes, I'm on board with that.
I like him for a really super dumb reason, which is on my MLB The Show Dynasty with the Portland Beavers. I picked him up, and we won 3 consecutive World Series. And he was not our ace; he was like our number 3 starter. But I like this Luzardo. He's fun to pitch with on the show.
Nice,
funky lefty, throws super hard.
Justin,
I'm sorry, what?
Were your top 2 starters Shota and Justin?
No.
Oh.
Not on the Beavers. Shohei. We got you. Shohei was our ace.
Oh.
Nice.
If you have the show, though, and you go into the uniform vault, the Beavers stuff that you can find is great. And that's why I want Portland. That's an actual, it's like the Beaver is the logo from the old Portland Beavers minor league team.
Right.
He is tremendous. Okay. They need to be the Beavers, and we need him back. He's great.
Is that sorry? Is that are you thinking that the Oakland A's should move there?
The A's or the Rays?
Right.
Both of them playing in minor league stadiums this year. How fun!
Yeah.
Do you know the A's?
Point.
So the A's signed Luis Severino to a $60 million contract.
Yes.
Do you know they still have to spend like $28 million to get to? Otherwise, they will lose their revenue sharing.
That's right.
Because their payroll is too low to qualify for the revenue sharing. That's why they're spending money. There's nothing to do with anything else other than, oh shit, that's going to cost us. They get like $50 million.
Yeah.
That they would just piss away.
All right. This is where it all comes together. Hey, Ian Happ, you want to become, you want to move in right next to the California governor's mansion, become good friends with Gavin Newsom? Come on.
I have heard there's an excellent coffee scene in West Sacramento.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah. It's happening. Good place to expand a growing coffee business is West Sacramento, California.
Cody Bellinger, I'm not sure that there's room to trade away from him.
God, West Sacramento, not even real Sacramento.
No, that's not even in real Sacramento. It's in West Sacramento.
I think they're stuck with Ian Happ.
Oh, we know they're stuck. They didn't.
Yeah.
This is what pissed me off about this. If they really went to Seiya and asked him to waive the no trade, they would have never bothered poor Ian with that. He's the 5th Ricketts, 6th, because Ryan Dempster's the 5th Ricketts kid. Ian's the 6th. It's like, he's just,
There's this dive,
and I'm already bracing for, I'm like, we're running out the clock, right? Like we've got this year and next year, but sometime next year they're gonna give him an extension.
Ian Happ,
you got to lock that up. Oh, he'll be a 5-time Gold Glover by then.
Can't lose that podcast revenue or that coffee revenue.
I love the fact they put that podcast on marquee.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time I've ever heard any of it. It's flipping by and you'll stop. And it is the dullest podcast ever. They all talk like this. And it's like an old, it's like an NPR skit. It's not even like an actual, what do you think of that? Who finds this stuff entertaining or him charming? I don't get it. He just won't go away. I got rid of Madrigal. That helps a little bit. But why didn't they keep Cody and trade Ian? I'd rather have Cody playing left field than Ian Happ.
I would too.
He's a much better player.
I don't know.
He's a better fielder. He's a better base runner. What does Happ give you? He switch hitter. He can bat right-handed and do nothing. That's fun.
Yeah. Well, Ian Happ's not a bad hitter. He's pretty good. What do you have? Like
he's always there when you don't need him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
correct.
Are we 10 out yet? We are. Okay, I can start hitting. Okay, good. Thanks, Ian. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
But I can warn you, if we go on a winning streak, I'm going right back at a slump again. All right, fine. It's just a lot of hollow. I've just always found there's a lot of hollow offense in Ian Happ.
I mean, sure.
Although he plays on the Cubs, there's a lot of opportunity for hollow offense.
Right.
There's a lot of times where they're nowhere near first place, or they're 6 runs down, and a home run is going to be like, of course, now he hits one. People used to say that about Brian all the time too. Oh, he only hits home runs when down by 6 runs. Yeah, except for Game 5 of the World Series.
Right.
Right.
So you asked the question.
Game 6 of the World Series.
Hear what you think? What is next?
Walk off against the Rockies. Yeah.
I do think they're going to try to get a pitcher, and they're going to try to trade for one because they don't want to sign one because they don't want to give up the 2nd and 5th pick. And honestly, as much as I like to say they're hiding behind this, if you want to keep your money around so you can sign Roki Sasaki, you kind of have to, because you don't have to give Roki your entire international thing, but the Cubs had other commitments to supposedly good international players. So some of that is committed for. So they can't really afford to give $1 million out of that and have any shot at getting it. And teams, for whatever reason, there's like good players available for trade. So take advantage of it. Fire some of these prospects that you know are gonna bomb, and let bomb for somebody else. So I'm all for it.
But who? What do you got? What do you think, like, concretely? Right. I know that's kind of putting you on the spot, but like, I mean, Luzardo, and I think it'd be fine.
We keep hearing Castillo and Luzardo, although Castillo is being traded to like 6 different teams at once.
Right.
I for the entire league.
I kind of would like to avoid Castillo personally, just because looking at his home road splits.
Steve Bartman. Is that why?
Also, that too. Yes, that same Luis Castillo.
It's bad juju, don't you think?
Right.
You're gonna sign a Luis Castillo with our history with Luis Castillo.
Yeah. Now I got to think.
Although Luis Castillo also, he's the guy who in game 4.
Oh, that got in the rundown that Aramis tagged him out in?
Aramis dropped the ball and Luis ran right into him, so Aramis just picked it up, tagged him, and won the game.
That's right. And I think famously dropped that like pop-up for the Mets when they were in the middle of a playoff race that blew it for him. So that was nice. No, I mean, Luis Castillo, if you take a look at his home road splits, like everyone knows Seattle is like one of the most pitcher-friendly parks in baseball. Ever since he's gotten there, like, the ERA on the road has been like over a full run higher than.
Well, I'll ask you this: is that we know there's a Coors effect where offensive players don't, even really good ones, don't hit as well on the road as they do in Coors.
Yep. Because
it's hard to adjust to the ball not carrying. Is there an opposite one in Seattle where it's really you get those players out of Coors and their stats? Good hitters, it normalizes. If you get a pitcher out of Seattle, do they eventually normalize too?
Possibly. I do wonder, like, is there like a big, air quality problem in Seattle too that factors into this? Because, like, the air is so thin in Denver, it's so thick in San Diego. That's why the two extremes exist there. But...
Yeah, you've got a good point, because there's a reason they call Cal Raleigh the Big Dumper. There is bad air quality in Safeco because of the Big Dumper.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, oh God, again? All right, that's enough.
Man, AL catchers all over the league are
tacos. Enough tacos, Cal.
They're turning into Todd Hundley at Busch Stadium, just fainting while he's up.
Yeah. I feel like the time to have traded for Luis Castillo was when the Mariners traded for Luis Castillo.
Well,
yeah,
and now it's like, we could probably do better.
All right,
this will be his age 32 season, so that's not bad.
And he wasn't nearly as good last year as I thought he was.
Yeah, strikeouts per 9 went down by a full strikeout.
Yep. His FIP was FIP was up even the last 2 years. His ERA plus is he's about average.
However, where would he slot into the Cub rotation? He's the third starter behind Steele and Shota.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he's a very good third starter.
And I guess
ahead of Big Jimmy or Big Jimmy Tyon.
Yeah. If the rumors to
big back brace,
what looking for is a guy who can miss bats, right?
When you cover your mouth on the podcast, it really helps. We can't hear you through your hand, Oleg.
Oh, sorry.
There's a lot of it. It was like you were doing your impression of me again, except
I'm like, you guys are kind of freezing up. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I like if the rumors are to be believed, Judd is looking for a pitcher who misses bats. Finally, a strikeout pitcher.
That would be nice,
right?
Mm-hmm. So Luis is owed $100 million over the next 4 years.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
No, but the Cubs do. I was surprised, and this is just the rumors. I was surprised who the names in the Luzardo trade were, though. Owen Casey or James Triantos. Oh, not our top prospects.
Yeah, not the guys without any position. Please.
Let's see. Luzardo he'll be 27 this year. So he's right in his prime. But he had 2 injuries last year, which is
he's just been hurt his whole career.
Yeah. With the pitch lab, I'll fix it. My guess is they'll trade for somebody who we're not. Like, it'll be like, oh, like we won't know.
They should have traded for Crochet.
Well, did the Cubs have anyone in their minor leagues who takes practice swings naked, like apparently Kyle Teal does? Maybe that was the big draw for the White Sox.
Maybe Moises Ballesteros does.
There we go.
They wouldn't know any better.
Yeah, can't tell. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can do with him. Like, he is, if you look at his minor league numbers, especially relative to his age in the leagues he's been in, that little fucker can really hit.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And it'd be nice to turn him into a serviceable catcher, but there are a lot of people who don't think that's ever going to happen. And the other position he plays is first, because always a good place to put a squatty little fat guy is first base. It's like, well, Matt Stairs played it,
right?
Well, or he could play left field like Kyle Schwarber.
There you go.
It'd be nice
Kyle
if he caught
Schwarber all over again.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he caught a little bit, but whatever.
But they are going to need another bullpen arm at least.
At least, yes.
They need a third baseman who will then, best case scenario, turns into a utility infielder.
Right.
But worst case can handle it if Shaw is not ready or not good.
They're going to wind up signing Yohan Moncada, aren't they?
God. Well, for the 8 games he's not on the injured list, I'm sure it'll be quite a ride.
But
the name that I was hoping for until recent days when he got hurt playing winter ball was Yohan Moncada. Probably could have got him on like a 1-year deal, but now he has a broken foot, and who knows if he'll ever play again.
He really did get hurt?
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake. That's amazing.
Isn't that what I just said?
Yes, you just did say. We were just talking about Yohan Moncada, and then
I'm sorry. I
like the Praz, pulled it right out of thin air. You know what? I got a name for you guys. We're talking about? I do the same thing to Donahue.
I swear, you guys froze up for a second. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
I do that to Donahue 10 times. I remember this crap because I'm looking something up while he's talking, and then I'll be like, "Oh, what about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's a great idea." I've just been talking about it for 3 minutes.
Right.
Oh.
And to be fair, I had no idea that Moncada got hurt.
I didn't know he got hurt either.
Yeah. So there you go. But that was pretty funny, press.
Whoops.
Somebody needs to hurry up and sign Nick Madrigal. Some team got to bite the bullet because I'm very uncomfortable with him just crawling around out there.
Because Jed,
you never know. You never know what small spaces he can crawl into.
Yeah. I hear that for every Nick Madrigal you see, there's 7 others you don't.
David Bodie is a Dodger now.
Yeah,
well, he's an Albuquerque Duke. He's not a Dodger. Is that what they still are? whatever their AAA team is.
I thought it was like Oklahoma City, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
All right.
It used to be the Dukes.
Colorado's. Because of the altitude.
The Oklahoma City Comets.
Okay.
Mm.
He's going to have a 1,000 OPS for him.
He is.
He's going to come up and hit a big home run in August for those fuckers.
Against the Cubs, probably.
No.
No, you know what it'll be?
He used to do that all the time. No, he didn't.
It'll be one of those 2 opening games in Japan.
He'll be on the roster because Max Muncy like fell down in the shower or something, and they're like, everybody's already reported to their minor leagues except for Bodie. He's like walking through the clubhouse. Hey, you want to go to Japan? Sure. He lost his passport in the. Well, no, he'll get pardoned. I was gonna say he lost his passport in the January 6th thing. He probably got it back now. He'll have it back.
I feel like probably 80. Now I guess we could talk about it with the Cubs starting lineup, but I feel like 80%.
Yeah, I would. Most of that, they were very happy on November whatever. That was a lot. Yeah. I think a lot of this roster was like, all right. Oh well.
But in all honesty, like, all right, so not Yohan Moncada. Like, what else is out there for the Cubs to like? Archer, general manager.
There's Nolan Arenado.
There's Nolan Arenado.
Well,
Alex Bregman.
I don't think Bregman's happening
either. A name I would love. This is not position player,
Corey
but
Koski.
relief pitcher. Corey Koski. We got that.
Corey Koski.
Eric Hinsky. Yep. Shea Hillenbrand. We'll just name random third baseman from the 2000s. I would really like to see them go get Tanner Scott. They've needed a lefty reliever. He can close too. Like, he doesn't have any sort of qualifying offer attached to him.
The unfortunate thing is the team that seems, now that they didn't get Devin Williams, the team that seems like they really want to go get Tanner Scott are the Dodgers.
Yeah. The Dodgers can have whatever they want anyway.
Pretty much. I got a great idea for how the Cubs could fill third base. Okay. This is amazing. I don't know why I didn't think of this before.
All right.
They could honor their history.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Every week they bring back, like, Ron Say gets the 2 games in Japan. He's still, I saw him. He did a thing for the 40th anniversary. Looks great. He's dyeing his hair. It looks tremendous.
Sure.
You could have Leo Gomez one week. You could have Shane Andrews one week. Steve Buechele. I give Steve Buechele a couple of weeks. Until then, whenever Matt Shaw is ready, then you stop the throwback thing. But that's a great idea.
Which games does Gary Scott get?
Who did he hit the grand slam against?
Gary Scott in the grand slam?
Yeah, it was only...
his like one shining moment as a Cub in '92, I think.
Did they have to bring back Mike Holt?
Did Gary Scott hit a grand slam? Gary Scott on April the 20th, 1992, hit a grand slam on the 13th pitch of his at bat.
Wow.
Yep. I'm going to put this in the on the post. I'm going to put because it's right here. I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
He hit it off some lefty from the Phillies. Yeah, the Phillies. Oh, it was a great moment.
Was it Randy Wolf?
It was.
It'd be hilarious.
Good old number 47. The video's so bad I can't. And the light. This is old Wrigley where, because there were no lights shining from the outfield, you could never read the name on any of the pitchers because it's too fucking dark.
When would this spin? 92?
92, yeah.
92.
92 Phillies.
Hey, Jim Fregosi in the dugout. Looking... he hit it off Jim Fregosi.
For the
Greg Maddux was on deck, so they couldn't pitch around Gary.
Yeah.
And you said number 47, correct?
47, yeah.
That would have been Jim's brother with 2 arms, Kyle Abbott.
Kyle Abbott. Mark Grace is on third.
Okay.
I haven't seen who's on second.
Okay. No, who's on first?
What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
Yep. All right. So, okay.
I'm just going to watch. You guys talk. I'm just going to watch the at-bat. It's tremendous. It takes forever. He just hit a foul ball that went about 3 feet, and the catcher almost got. Oh, there it goes. It was a pop up that the left fielder thought he was going to catch the whole way, and it landed in the basket. Little Mickey Morandini was distraught at second base.
The wind must have been blown out. The wind.
Doug DeCenzo was on base. He was there to greet him. He was there to greet him at home plate.
So you're saying that this home run that Gary Scott hit just landed in the basket, and he was a third baseman for the Cubs. He would have fit right in the second half of 2024 with the Cubs, because that's exactly what Isaac Paredes did.
He had just as many.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to guess that Gary Scott outslugged Isaac Paredes.
I was going the other way.
There you go.
I was going to say the other way. I bet that Isaac Paredes outslugged Gary Scott.
Oh, you think Gary was under 140? Let's see. 1992.
Yeah.
Let's see. Splits. Gary Scott. Let's see. How do you do it, Wrigley?
Do you think, while you're looking that up, what do you think?
Oh, destroyed. He destroyed Isaac Paredes.
226.
226.
That was a slugging?
That was a slugging.
I was just kidding, Rod. I didn't realize it was that close.
80 some points.
Yeah, that's
Isaac 140.
Yeah.
Gary Scott for the season played, and he got 175 at bats.
Okay.
He was negative 1.3 WAR.
Sure.
He hit 160.
1.3.
Yes, negative 1.3.
Wow. All right.
160 with a 250 on base and a 240 slug. So his slug was higher than his on base. I mean, his slug was lower than his on base.
That is a lower OPS. I'm sure that's a lower OPS than Carlos Zambrano had for his career.
Oh, it's a lot lower. Carlos was like, I did the thing last year where I compared Carlos's career stats to the White Sox.
Yeah.
He had out OPS'd almost the whole White Sox roster. Yeah. Gary Scott in 1992, his OPS plus, remember 100 is league average, 38.
Yikes.
All right.
I think I found the perfect name for a stopgap third baseman, and this fills in perfectly with former third baseman like you were just bringing up, Andy, right now. If only Ron Santo were still alive to watch this guy be a Cub and pronounce his name, Kike Hernandez.
Oh, Kike Hernandez, absolutely.
Yes,
except you'd have to trade. He would make you trade him back to the Dodgers for the playoffs so that he could win World Series MVP again.
Yeah,
this is true.
I'm doing important stuff over here, like looking up Carlos's career batting.
What, Praz, I'm going to ask you since Andy's busy looking stuff up. What do you think about Alec Bohm?
If you can get him cheap, fine. He's a guy who seems kind of like a brick, honestly. But
he's I hate it here, right?
He's the I hate it here guy.
I hate it here.
Pretty good hitting numbers, actually.
Yeah,
have you seen supposedly the what the Phillies have been asking for him?
No,
like these ridiculous trade packages that they've been trying to get. Like they did offer him though for Kyle Tucker.
Alec Bohm.
Really?
Yeah.
Alec Bohm. Yeah. Alec Bohm and somebody else. It was not a good offer. Carlos Zambrano's career OPS. Remember, Gary Scott 490. Carlos's career 636.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like legitimately good. His slash 238, 248, 388. He's like 388. Switch hitting pitcher.
Yeah.
24 career homers.
Yeah. So the Cubs.
If he was an everyday player, he would have averaged 11 homers and 32 RBIs
per 162.
Per 162. Yeah,
that's
not great. No, boo. He's no Shohei. Although Shohei didn't switch hit.
And Shohei never threw an umpire out of a game.
No, and he's also has yet to get thrown out of a game and then put his hands to make glasses at the ump on his way off the field.
Oh my god.
That was opening day in Arizona, right? He had the two opening day meltdowns back to back.
05.
the Jason
against
Hayward
the
game,
Planet
and
Angel.
then the game against the Diamondbacks.
God, I love that motherfucker.
Or was it
God
the Jeff?
damn.
Was he the Jason Hayward? Or he was the Jeff Francoeur game. He might have
No,
been the Jeff
he
Francoeur.
was. Well, Jeff Francoeur was in the middle of the season.
That's right. That
Like
was
they
an
called
opening
up
game.
Jeff Francoeur.
He made his debut against the Cubs just like
Yeah.
Hayward, and he did the same.
Was that the Hayward game that he got lit up in?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hayward's debut.
that was.
But the
2010.
Diamondback game, he got thrown out of. He was Lou had taken him out, but he was.
I think it would have been it would have been Dusty at the time.
Was it? He got taken out
Yeah, it
of
was
the game.
05.
Well, this is the Diamondbacks game, which might have been 07.
Okay.
05.
It might have been 05 was Diamondbacks. You looked up.
Yeah. No, I just have it in memory, honestly.
The Cubs had a huge lead, and he couldn't get through the fifth.
Right.
And he got taken out, and he was mad at the ump for squeezing him. And he got taken out, then he got thrown out. He got thrown out of a game he had just been taken out of. So.
Like, why do umpires do that? He's already out of the game. Like, what's the point?
Because it's there. They're assholes.
Right.
Can't take a joke. That's why.
So
All right, we haven't solved this. We're going to stay here until we solve third base.
Yeah, that's what I
Is that
was
what we're
saying.
doing?
That's
All
why
right,
I
fine.
keep trying to get us back on track.
Hey, I threw a name out there. Kike Hernandez.
You did?
They need an impact bat. They need somebody really good.
I don't know.
I
get what you're saying.
All right. So in your mind, though, you're moving. You are either you're keeping Matt Shaw in Des Moines,
No.
or Matt Shaw is playing second base because you've traded Nico for Luis Castillo, and now we need a third base.
I
need
don't
to know
if it
what
has to
your-
do with Castillo anymore, but you got to try. And I think Luis Castillo is actually a pretty fair
I'd
deal
rather-
for Nico.
I want Brian Wu. That's who I want. I
Yeah.
want Brian
Brian
Wu.
That'd be great.
I mean, I'd rather have George Kirby or Logan Gilbert, but here we are.
Yeah. Mariners like no. Actually, the reason the Castillo keeps coming up is that the Mariners, even though their payroll right now is currently under $100 million, claim they need to cut that money so then they can go find some offense. It's like, just fucking pay.
God.
Just get a real big league payroll.
Right.
Why did you assemble this great young pitching staff, which is super cheap, except for Castillo? Even with Castillo, your pitching staff is cheap.
Yeah.
Just go get some hitters.
You know what? They're the freaking West Coast Cubs, honestly. Man.
Actually, if you combine the two rosters, you'd have a great team.
There you go. There we go. We figured this out. The Siago Mariubs. There we go.
Siatkago.
Well, I'm trying to do like the card pit type name.
So all right, so okay, so I don't know what you do with Horner, but I don't know that Horner is the type of hitter the Cubs need. Like they've clearly the pendulum has swung towards a bunch of contact guys, and that hasn't worked. So now you got to do something, right? Dansby's clearly not going to be the 30 home run guy or whatever, 25 home runs, whatever he hit with the Braves. So you got
maybe the hernia was holding him back though.
Maybe.
There you go.
Maybe. I'm confident in Matt Shaw. That's fine. All good there. But you need something else. And unless Owen Casey can be, can all of a sudden play, I don't know, third base.
Right.
I'm fine with trading Horner. But like I said, you have this is your opportunity. You got to do something.
I got it. Remember how everybody wanted to fix the Brian LaHair, Anthony Rizzo, by playing Rizzo at third.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not just do that? He's a free agent. Bring him in.
Play Rizzo at third.
Anthony Rizzo's your third baseman. Perfect. We got it.
How hard could that be, really?
Oh, man.
You just have to do
play third one time for the Cubs.
You just have to turn 270 every time you get the ball to throw it to first. It'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, there were all those times when he would go get that second baseman's glove, right?
For the bunt plays.
The dumbest thing. You can't use first baseman's glove if you're not playing first base.
I don't know. Ask Anthony.
No, that was why he got bumps, made him change it once. So then the Cubs just had a second.
Yeah. Because Javi was technically the first baseman on those plays.
So they made him change gloves. That was a real thing. That was why he had to come out with it. It wasn't because he's like, I can't feel the ball when I'm not playing first with the first baseman's glove. I guess there's like a special dispensation for the size because it's first base, and then if you're going to play at a different position, you can't use it. Some asshole ump was like, "No, they can't do that."
Here you go.
Actually, that happened in Milwaukee. I wonder if it was fucking Counsell. I wonder if it was that little fucker Craig Counsell that threw a fit. Because the first time it happened, it was in Milwaukee. They had to switch the glove, and they weren't ready for it, and they couldn't. There are no left-handed infielders gloves,
right?
So they gave him an outfield glove to use instead. All right. What about how do you feel about JD Davis doing it for you? Third base.
Who?
JD Davis.
Who?
Yeah.
How about
John Birdie?
Michael Busch and Owen Casey for Vlad Guerrero?
That doesn't solve third base, though.
I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't do it then because we're giving up. We're gutting our 83 win team. We've already given away Hayden. How are we supposed to be back to back, fifth best record in the National League in the second half if we give away all the stars from those teams?
God,
I mean, come on. All right. What about? Why don't we make a big offer? Go get Bo Bichette. Play him at third. There you go.
He's not good.
That could be done. I'd be in for that.
He needs to change the scenery. That's all he needs. Change the scenery. Going right back to where he was 3 years ago. How about? What about the Orioles? They're not doing anything. How about we get a Jackson Holiday?
But then you're right back to you might as well play Matt Shaw then.
Actually,
we're not trading Matt Shaw. We got Shaw and Jackson Holiday in the infield together.
Actually, I would take personal offense to that if Jackson Holiday ever became a Cub because I fucking hated his dad. He was probably the most hated Cardinal at the time he was there for me. So I do not want to see Matt Holiday at Wrigley Field ever.
I always thought it was hilarious when he would slide like 6 feet past the bag and kick Starling into the field.
This is exactly why.
Oh, look at the gritty, tough. He's a fucking cheap shot asshole, is what he is. You know what I would do if I owned the Cubs? I would trade for Jackson Holiday and I'd bench him and I'd never let him play. So your dad was an asshole, and you just sit there and you watch. This is what you get for the next 7 years. You're on our bench. Have fun. You can start playing when you're 28. Congratulations. Go get him.
All right. What did you trade?
Hey, Bo Bichette 2 years ago had 175 hits. He had 306. He had one bad year, and you gave up on him. This is when you trade for him. And then you let John Malley and whoever the fuck all the hitting coaches are, they get in there, they fix him. Superstar. I like it. That's what I want. I've solved it.
There we go. We fixed the Cubs.
Yep. Bo Bichette's going to play third base for the Cubs. And they can have basically whatever they want out of that minor league. So except for Matt Shaw. They can't have Matt because we need him to play second.
Yeah.
They can have Nico.
Right.
Would that help?
Would Nico help?
They can have Owen Casey. The Canadian spelling of Casey is just
weird.
Wait
a second.
Isn't he Canadian? He is.
He is Canadian. There you go.
There it is.
It's a match made in heaven. Perfect.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you have to go after Vlad Guerrero.
Well, we can go after Vlad.
Put Vlad at third base.
Well, here's the problem, though. Vlad himself is technically Canadian. He was born there when his dad was on the Expos, so you can't remove him.
Jed got asked. They're going to get deported, though.
This is true. This is
ruining it. We know the Cubs. We know
that's
what
right. That's right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Sorry.
We know what the Cubs' strategy is.
Oh, I knew that. That was white Americans.
What about Gleyber Torres?
Can he play third?
I don't know.
He's played mostly second with the Yankees?
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard
they were trade Horner. Boom, done.
During the winter meetings, the experts were talking about this. When the Yankees traded for Jazz. The plan was Jazz was going to play second, Gleyber was going to play third. Gleyber wouldn't go. So they said, fuck it, we'll just teach Jazz how to play third. Now, however, that Gleyber is unemployed, he suddenly is open to learning how to play third base. He claims he just didn't want to do it on the fly during the season, even though he made Jazz do it on the fly during the season. But he claims if you give him an off season to work on it, he'll do it.
But Jazz was
he'd be a stopgap third baseman until Matt Shaw is ready.
But here's the thing: like I think that I'm getting myself confused. I'm. It's not a matter of getting a stopgap. The Cubs need one more big time bat. They need a hitter, and the only place you could put him is either second base or third base. I put Matt Shaw at the other one. Either trade Horner, get a second baseman, and you need someone really, really good. You need somebody who could hit 30 home runs, maybe 25 home runs.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem then.
Yeah,
those guys, second baseman with 30 homers, just that's why Ryan Sandberg wasn't unique because everybody did it.
So there is
everybody hit 30 and 40 home runs.
There is one out
still
there.
Do.
I bet there is someone you could trade for who's that player who just gets hurt a lot.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Brandon Lowe.
Oh, I thought you were referring to a certain former Cub.
Who do you think I was referring to?
Chris Bryant.
Oh, Chris Bryant?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
Javi. Just get Javi back. Play him at third.
Yeah.
There you go. Salt.
Brandon Lowe. I'm gonna.
At some point, either in spring training or not long after, you're going to be able to sign Ednel Javier Baez for the league minimum.
Because you think he's got 3 years left?
Yeah.
You think they're just going to cut him?
I think they are. They're just going to cut him. They're just going to cut their
trade for him and have him.
They're going to see if the hip surgery does anything for him. If it does, they'll try it. But if early returns are bad, old Javi's getting cut.
Yeah, for a team that actually has like real playoff aspirations now.
How about this? And when I heard this, I thought it can't be right because it seemed like a stupid thing for him not to do. But I guess the money is why. So Andy McCullough was talking on their little roundtable podcast on The Athletic. They were talking about sliding doors moments, and they said that in the off season after 2021, the Phillies were trying to sign Chris Bryant.
Okay,
and Bryant couldn't come to terms. So Bryant signed with the Rockies instead. You know who the Phillies signed instead of Chris Bryant?
Schwarber?
Kyle Schwarber. So otherwise he would not have been a Philly, and Chris Bryant would have. And I know this for a fact. Do you know who had the second most serious offer for Kyle Schwarber when he picked the Phillies?
The White Sox?
The Chicago Cubs.
Really?
They were going to bring him back, but not at big money, and he got a real offer from the Phillies. But that was his fallback. If he didn't sign with the Phillies, he was going to come back to the Cubs.
He's got 4 years, $80 million.
Yeah, the Cubs were offering him like $2 and $30 or something.
Why did they not tender?
Yep,
they had not tendered him the year before.
Yeah, no, I'm right.
He'd been with the Nats and because they're idiots. They didn't because actually part of the reason they didn't was Ricketts would not let them do the Javi thing to Jason Hayward. So they let Schwarber go instead. They wouldn't let them. They wanted to release Hayward.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And they wouldn't let him do it. They basically said, no, you sign that contract. You're either going to trade him or you're going to live with it.
So. God, I hate this fucking owners.
Yep.
All right, so we've solved nothing.
Now, thankfully, as Jed said, it's only like the fifth inning in the offseason. So we're playing time.
You were going to play
his dumbass metaphors.
No, I just wanted to play that ridiculous. I want to play this.
Just that little snicker. Yeah. This should be like the unofficial laugh track on the podcast now.
Yeah.
What a crazy way to respond to that question.
Yeah, it was weird, and seeing it wasn't any better. He was like, the visual was just as awkward.
What? Like
anyway, I think what we suggested was great, and I think we should congratulate ourselves. Wow. They really like us. Just when you think it's over.
Yeah.
It's not. All right.
We got a chance.
And it really lingers at the end, too. Jesus.
We got to juxtaposition that with the laugh.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I would play it again, but no one wants to hear both of those things again.
So could I just end by saying that I'm really excited about Kyle Tucker, and I don't like. I wish that they'd sign him long term, but I'm not concerned about it.
So they're going to put my theory to the test. I just kept telling him, Jed has built a good team that it's all supporting players in need of a star.
Yeah.
And now they add a star. So either I'm wrong, I can't imagine that, or this is going to work.
Well, we got
because there's only one way it can go.
Yeah. And we talked about
That's
it.
exactly what they needed. And I enjoy making fun of Jed, but he deserves a lot of credit for this. I mean, this is and nobody saw it coming. The whole with the rumors even came out in a weird way. First, it was the Cubs are dangling Seiya Suzuki to teams. Well, it turns out they weren't. This whole thing was about the Tucker thing. It was one of the names the Astros wanted to be able to consider, and then all of a sudden, it went from the Kyle Tucker might be available to Kyle Tucker might go to the Cubs to. It looks like Kyle Tucker's going to go to the Cubs to Kyle Tucker's going to the Cubs. So,
yep.
Well,
he did a very nice job.
There was that weird rumor of the 3-team trade, right? Horner going to the Mariners and Tucker coming to the Cubs, and then something going to the Astros. And that was crazy enough to where you're like, wait, could that happen? And then it sort of fell off, and there was a day or so and nothing happened. And then it was like, boom. And that was it.
Yeah.
You're right, Andy. It's the, we kept saying, I don't know, a couple months, whenever we were on last, that the Cubs were a pretty good team that needed an MVP candidate. And that's exactly what they got.
Well, it is funny. When the winter meeting started, Soto had signed the night before the winter meeting started.
Right.
So everybody's GMs got asked the question, why didn't you sign Juan Soto? And Jed gave this kind of obnoxious answer about, great players don't come along that often. And when they do, you have to seriously look at them. And there will be a time when we will go out and we will get a great player. But this was not the great player we were going to go after. And the crazy part of it is, at that point, he had confidence that they were going to get Kyle Tucker. That deal was a lot farther along. No, we didn't even know it was along at all.
Right.
But obviously that was Monday, and they got him on Friday. So he's actually, now you can read between the lines, who's basically saying, we didn't get that great player, but we're just going to get another guy. We're going to get the guy who's like 95% of that guy.
Well, maybe not 95%, but yeah.
Well, Soto's a better hitter than just about everybody on the planet. But when you factor in Tucker's a great hitter, he's a better base runner, he's a better fielder. I mean, Soto's a better player. That's the guy you'd rather have Juan Soto. He's going to Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Kyle Tucker's pretty close.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Kyle Tucker can get him $600 million, but whatever. Yeah, I'm with you.
No, he's going to have to sell for like $400 million. I hope he can live on it. I hope he gets scraped by on that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what Elon Musk
Poor
gets.
thing.
All right.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
Many of us have herpes.
You can't quote that. I'm not going to comment on anything.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. Got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much. Awesome.